think a bar comes across saying something like recording in 5. Oh, the recording started. Excellent. Hello, everyone.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the information session for the Master Specialise in Digital Strategy Management. This recording will be given to people who couldn't make it tonight and also be uploaded online. I'm going to introduce Lorraine is with us. Lorraine is your first point of contact for admissions, and she can answer questions. Her contact details are on the website. So if you've got any questions after the session, or if you're watching the recording, feel free to contact Lorraine. You join us at our current Paris campus, but next year we will be somewhere else. Still in Paris, but somewhere else, and I'll tell you more about that in a second. Right, I'm now going to share this presentation with you, and let's just go. Oh, I'm going to share this presentation with you again. Click, and hopefully you can see my screen. Hopefully, Teams is doing the little round thing. Lorraine, can you see the presentation? Or anyone else who's online, can you see the presentation? Hopefully. Someone say yes.
Oui.
Awesome. Okay. Right, so let's go through this. I'm going to give you a quick introduction and tell you about the program and how it's developed. We'll discuss some common questions, which include typical sorts of students we have, the live digital assignments, the real life assignments, the way we work here on the course, the consultancy module, a bit about the new Paris campus and some of the key benefits of joining the program. Okay, so we have over the last 2-3 years, I think 3 years, I've been the program manager of this course, gone on quite a journey. We started quite normally for a couple of weeks, and then COVID hit, and we all went online. Fortunately, we are particularly well prepared for things like that because, of course, all our students are very digital. So it wasn't a massive problem, although everyone felt a bit isolated. So we and also the new campus is all set up with HyFlex and screens and things. So if people need to be away for a pandemic, that is entirely possible. Then we managed at last to get together, although I seem to remember when that photo was taken, it was one of those moments where we really had to take off our masks outside and we'll have to be masked inside. But in happier times, in a normal classroom, and being able to be together, which is roughly where we are now. Things are entirely back to whatever normal is post-pandemic. We are in a normal classroom, we're not wearing masks. If people do need to isolate for any reason, that they can do that, because as I say, we've got all the cameras and things and screens, and in the new campus we're all going to be set up for that kind of thing as well. We didn't miss a single lecture throughout that whole period, something I'm very, very proud of. We didn't even put one off. So my contact details are on there. So if you need me, you can contact me. I don't really use Twitter anymore. There is an explanation on my Twitter account as to why I don't use Twitter anymore. It's probably the same reason that a lot of people don't use it. But you can contact me by email or through LinkedIn or through Mastodon if you want, same username. Feel free to contact me with any questions that you've got. Okay, first question that we get asked a lot: who is the course for? And it's kind of an unanswerable question, because the course gives you a toolbox that allows you to go into all sorts of different businesses. So if you've got an interest in management in digital and tech firms, if you want to become a consultant, if you want to get into digital marketing or digital advertising or digital comms, if you're interested in working in a big international business, if you're interested in working in an agile environment, all of those transferable skills are the things we teach on the course. So it's not it's the sort of course that will be able to give you a lot of options when you graduate. We built the course around a mission, and the mission was to educate and empower the next generation of digital leaders to be ready to rise to the digital and other challenges faced by businesses and wider society, ethically, sustainably, and humanity. Incredibly, I wrote that before COVID, but it feels like it's even more relevant now than it was before. All of those elements are elements that businesses are finding more and more important, and we think that by integrating them into the course throughout all of the subjects, that means that our students will become even more attractive to businesses who are looking for great digital talent. It's really important to us that we build a classroom that's very international, and that is not just students, but also our lecturers and tutors. In a digital environment, you aren't constrained by borders in the same way that you are with a lot of physical businesses. And so, you know, we can teach various cultural aspects of how different elements of digital businesses work in different countries, but realistically, the best way of doing that is having people in the room who've actually lived it. And so we've got lecturers from Asia, from Europe, from North America. We've got a real mix, and we're always trying to widen that mix as well. Karima, for instance, she works also in the Middle East, as well as in Canada and in Europe. She works with trade, with trade missions, with Canadian Trade Mission. Christian's worked all over the world, as has Mark. Our experiences are remarkably international. And we also rely, and I'll talk about the general learning model as well, on our students giving another element to that international aspect, so that we can learn from them as well. Because at the end of the day, you know, you only have so many people in the room at any one time, and the experiences of students who live in South America, for instance, or in Africa, really enrich what we're teaching. So the course is built around 5 core competencies. They're on the screen: creation of a sustainable digital strategy, management of digital projects, deployment of a digital marketing strategy, running a digital communications campaign, and defining an e-commerce strategy. There is a quite a detailed breakdown of the various elements of that that's available on the FNCP website, but we give you a breakdown of exactly what we're doing throughout the course. And the way that the course is written is, it's not just the old sort of fashioned way of doing modules, where we assess a module and the module stands alone on its own. There are modules, there are subject modules, but the competencies run across the modules. So you have to understand how each of these elements integrate into a wider competence. If you look at the course across sort of 4 large axes, what you find is that we've got what you can call the sort of overarching management skills, We've got the digital communication stuff, so marketing, advertising. We've got digital project management, which is a specific thing, and we've got all the analytics and measuring stuff, all the numbers stuff, and those are the sort of four axes the course is built around. You can then break those down into those modules. And then when you take the competencies, you find that those competencies, because competencies, a word that I always struggle to say, those competencies run across those modules and across those axes. That makes it a much more real world experience, because realistically, people aren't employed in a entirely sealed module unit, right? So branding, for instance, doesn't exist in a vacuum that can ignore measuring, can ignore SEO, can ignore ethical issues and accessibility issues and geopolitics and legal issues. So it's important that we, as practitioners, understand how all these elements feed into what we do. Looking at the dates, the current plan is that the classes run basically September to September. The live digital consultancy runs and sort of from the beginning of the year, the beginning of the calendar year to June. The thesis defences happen in November, so you're writing your thesis sort of from working and writing on your thesis sort of from February time to December, and that we're a 15-month program. So the 15-month program, that's set in stone. The defences are set in stone. The two things that we're working on at the moment that may move a bit are how the classes work. There'll still be a summer break, but what we're looking at, and we're consulting with businesses on, is whether it makes more sense to do what we currently do, which is work in a rhythm of 1 week off, so 1 week at school, 2 weeks at work, or whether they'd prefer 1 week at school, 3 weeks at work, but actually have the classes running longer into the year. So we're consulting with businesses on that. One of the things that's important to us in putting this together is to make sure that our business partners, the employers of our students, are consulted and are happy with what we're doing, because at the end of the day, those are the people that give you the jobs. The you've got there is the module list. So you have some idea of the big subjects that we're going to be looking at across the year. The newer modules that have come in recently are ethics and sustainability, big data and IoT, mental health, digital knowledge management strategy, which is first for this year, and also understanding consumer insights and gamification and nudge theory. So those are the new things that we're doing this year. Your year will be the second year of doing those. And as I said, they all integrate into each other. I preempted that slide. So at the end of the course, there's a caveat on this slide. At the end of the course, you will end up with your Master Spécialisé Manager des Stratégies Digitales, which is a titre. We as put on one of the top digital strategy courses in France. We've just 2-3 days ago, I think it is, found out that we have ranked second in France in our category on Ed Universal. So we've got up one place, which is excellent. One of the best courses for this subject in France. You will have a professional Scrum Master PSM1 certification, which you have for life. That's from scrum.org, but we work with them and our training partners to ensure that you've got the PSM1 certification. You will have 2 industry recognized Google certifications, the caveat being that's assuming that Google doesn't change those, which we don't think they will. And of course, you've got the contacts, the network that you're going to build over the year within the class with your lecturers and the other people that you'll meet at the school. And of course, the skills and competencies, the toolbox, as I describe it, to help you succeed in your career. Now, probably one of the most asked questions is, what is your typical student? I think everybody has this fear that when they go into the classroom, the people in there are going to be a specific sort of person. They're going to be a particular age or a particular background or something. Out of all the courses that I've seen, all the courses that I've personally studied in and taught in, this course has the most atypical group of people that I've ever seen. Okay, there is no one student profile. There is no one exact background. Sure, there are some things that people have in common, some interests that people have in common, but not everybody. Some people may be really interested in NFTs or blockchain or luxury or branding. Some people may be really interested in agile. Some people may be really interested in ethical questions. And that may be shared with some other people in the room, but not all of the people in the room. Some people may be very interested in the measurement and analytical stuff. Others in the more creative side. But there isn't an age, there isn't a nationality, there isn't a background, there's nothing. There's no kind of like, you're going to be faced with this group of people. There have been people in this class. I mean, I started lecturing this class 7 years ago, I think it was. Came program director 3 years ago, who've been older than me, and I'm really old now. But there've been people in the class who are older than me. There have been people in the class who are just coming out of doing their PGE, and so there's this really wide range of people, and they come from everywhere. These are just some of the nationalities we've had in the class over the last 2 years, be they lecturers or students, or other people that we have come in and told. So a bit about the GEM learning model, because it's really, really relevant. Some of you may know this. We have this GEM learning model, and it's very much based around the flipped teaching idea. Everybody in the room is a teacher. Your teachers, in the sort of classic sense of the word, the people at the front of the room, are experts in what they do. But we all understand that there will be people who know something about what we are doing more than we do. There will be people who know a particular element of something more than we do. I teach social media. There have been times in the room where there are people who are particularly experts on a particular platform. Equally, it may be a platform that I've literally never used before. And those people become the teacher. And they can give their experience. And that's really important because, you know, it really does enrich what we do. And there is a big part of this course that is it is this sort of 360-degree learning. Everybody in the room is a teacher. So just on a couple of practicalities, we have one of the modules is called Real World Content Marketing. You write articles, you share the articles, you engage with people. These are live articles online. They're on Medium. You can go to our medium.com site, medium.com/digital-gems. You can see the articles now. There are more going up over there are more going up over the next couple of weeks. I think we've got about 20, or almost 30 in the pipeline, and then there's another 30 coming in another couple of weeks' time after that. So there's always articles going up there. Groups work together, sharing each other's content online. They work individually, creating content and engaging with readers. It's a really good practical exercise in content creation, and also in content management and content dissemination and measuring and ethics and law and all sorts of other things. So that's a really exciting exercise. I don't just say that because I'm involved in it, but that is a really, really exciting exercise. We also have our live digital consultancies. We have real world companies who provide us with live business cases, which students work on individually and in groups before replying to their clients. We have a consultant who manages that process and helps you to produce something of quality for the client before going back to the client. You do research, you fight out amongst yourselves as to what you're going to present, you research further, always discussing what you're doing with the client. So you learn client handling, how to deal with the demands of a client on a day-to-day basis. It's a real valuable exercise that happens over a couple of months. So that's, yeah, and we've got really good companies that engage with us on that. New campus. I used to, when I started this, I used to a couple of times I took people around the campus on this little live trip, because we are currently on our Dido campus, just to the south of Montparnasse. But we are moving. We're going up to Pontin. I went up there earlier on this week to see how the buildings look, and they're almost finished. That's an artist's impression. They're not quite there yet, but they're almost finished. It's really lovely. They're really nice, big, light, airy buildings. Just a bit further on from these trees, there is the canal. There are little shops and restaurants and bars and things along the canal. It's really, really, really nice. That's due to open for the rentrée, for back to school 2023. So September this year, that's due to open. It's very, looks to me very, very almost done. There's just some of the cladding's going on at the moment. It's almost all done from the outside. So that will be our new home from 2023. It's just on the outskirts of Paris. A little bit about Pontin. Oh, look, there's the canal. I'd forgotten we had that. So yeah, the canal is just literally just 2 minutes walk from the school, if that. And there are some massive big businesses who are located to that area. There's a big development area going on up there, and we're slap bang in the middle of it. So Chanel needs BNP Paribas. It's a lovely spot, really nice spot. And you know, it's a really lovely sustainable building. It's a lovely wooden structure on the outside, carbon neutral. It's got a lovely big green space on top, which apparently is for everyone to use, although I might try and just keep it for myself because it looks really nice. So it is, if you're in the area, it's worth going and having a look at it. And it's all nice and green and lovely. Looks really nice. Big airy space by a big load of water, which is really relaxing. And obviously it's going to have the HyFlex stuff in it as well, which is really important if people for whatever reason can't get in. And with big project spaces and breakout areas and wellness centres and all sorts of things. Really excellent campus. And beyond that, having that much space is going to allow us to be able to do different and new things that we haven't been able to do here because we just lack the space, including having external seminars and conferences and workshops and things like that. And it's going to be brilliant for networking, and for you to be able to work in a really nice environment. Key benefits of joining. It really is a cutting edge program. My lecturers are always told to make sure everything is up to date. We discuss the new elements that we want in each year, and they are brought in after we discuss them for quality purposes to make sure they're really relevant, and we discuss it with our business partners as well. Entirely digitally focused. It's especially, I think that's especially relevant when you understand how they integrate, because that's a key part of it, is that all these elements integrate into a digital strategy. Really highly qualified teachers, excellent teachers, who are practitioners and professionals and some academics, and from all over the world. It's really innovative. We use real life live platforms, and really I get slightly too excited about this. It's really we're always looking for ways of including new technology and using new platforms and evolving, so we don't get stuck on the old things, and giving you the best certifications and experiences that we can do in an environment, in a learning environment that really is enriched by the diverse backgrounds of the people that are in the room. Again, these are unanswerables, but it really opens doors. I keep talking about it like as a toolbox. It allows you to do so many different things. There is an element of truth to this idea. There are parts of it that are very left brain, parts of it are very right brain, parts that are very numeric, parts of them are very creative. Some people really like some people really like the other. But what's key to it is that you understand how it all integrates. And by doing that, it means that you can move within industries, within job types. So we do have people who have we've had all sorts of jobs all around the world. And it's really, as a program director, it's really enjoyable watching people's careers progress, seeing them in new jobs, seeing them move countries, come back to France, go to other parts of Europe, go to the States, go all over the place, with the toolbox that we've given them. Right, I've come to the end. So I'm going to give Lorraine the possibility of stopping the recording.